Connecting the Yuba Sutter 93 community with local shows, sports, interviews, and events. You're watching 93Q TV.
Hi, I'm Scarlett, and this is my best little buddy, Penny. We are just out for a walk in the neighborhood. Hey, Penny.
Yeah?
Do you know what we should do today?
What?
We should go on an adventure.
An adventure? Where are we going?
The Sutter Butts. Those mountains right there. They're the smallest mountain range in the world.
They look huge to me.
Let's go check them out. Come on. Wow, Penny. This place is amazing.
It's like a giant playground.
I wonder what type of creatures live up here.
I don't know if I want to find out. Wait, do you see that?
Is that a cave? Sweet.
This might be the coolest thing we've ever found.
Adventure level maximum.
It's kinda spooky in here.
I like spooky.
Whoa.
What is this?
Scarlett, do you hear that?
Yes, I definitely hear that. That's a rattlesnake.
What should we do?
Let's get out of here. Okay, Penny, that was way too close. I officially vote for adventures with no snakes next time.
Hey there, what are you doing up here? We got a call that there was a kid wandering around up here alone.
I'm not alone, I have Penny. We were just exploring the beautiful Sutter Butts, and we found a cave.
But then there was a rattlesnake in there.
I think you mean the Sutter Buttes. A rattlesnake, huh? Sounds like you two had quite the adventure. But the sun's going down soon. You should probably head home before it gets dark.
Yes, sir. Mom, Dad, Penny and I went on the biggest adventure today. We explored the Sutter Buttes, found a cave, and there was even a rattlesnake.
But we handled it like professionals.
And Sheriff Barnes told us to head home before dark.
Well, that sounds like quite the adventure.
Just maybe stay away from rattlesnakes next time.
We agree.
Okay, well, it's time to get ready for bed.
Let's go, Scarlett. I'll tuck you in.
Okay. So, Penny, where should we explore next?
Somewhere with less snakes.
Connecting the Yuba Sutter 93Q Community with local shows, sports, interviews, and events. You're watching 93Q TV.
Since 1984, the Christian Assistance Network, CAN, has been a powerful reminder of what happens when churches come together to serve their community. What began with 7 churches has grown to over 28, all united with one mission: helping people in Yuba Sutter with compassion and care. At CAN, we keep things simple, but effective. When someone is in need, they come to us. Our volunteers, they listen, they assess, and connect with them with all the right resources they need. Whether that's food, diapers, clothing, or financial help paid directly to landlords and their providers, every dollar, every donation goes exactly where it's needed most. Guided by our board of directors and fueled by the awesome volunteers, CAN makes sure no family has to walk alone, especially during the holidays. We provide Thanksgiving baskets and turkeys so families can gather around a nice warm meal.
We can't do it without you.
Your generosity makes this possible.
Every gift, big or small, helps us reach more neighbors in need. And together, we can make a difference.
Connecting the Yuba Sutter 93Q community with local shows, sports, interviews, and events. You're watching 93Q TV.
California's Yuba River starts high on the western slope of the Sierra. A composite of the Slate, Indian, Canyon, and Snake. Fed by tiny nameless creeks, clattering toward it from either side. By glistening springs trickling over its mossy banks.
In Yuba County, water has given and taken everything. Water built the community.
We started with the water, so we're not going to be here without our water.
And threatened to destroy it.
The amount of water that can come down this river at a moment's notice is mind-boggling.
They had floods regularly, 55.
Releasing a terrific quantity of water which spread at freight train speed.
86.
This is scary.
97.
In Yuba County, total devastation.
You're feeling it for the people that possibly could be gone.
This is the story of a small community that stood their ground against incredible odds.
Those kind of stories that we just can't imagine nowadays.
A story of determination, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. A story told by those who know it best.
We do beat the odds over and over again. It's like just when they count you out, we come back. Yuba is the comeback kid.
If we don't teach our children the history of what there was, they won't appreciate where they're growing up, what people did, how hard it was for them to do it, and the life they can have here. Well, John Sutter was the first European to own land here. In 1838, he became a Mexican citizen, and within 2 years, he had to have 12 settling families, or that land, which is now 7 counties in California, reverted back to the Mexican government. My family was one of those families.
Named for a survivor of the Donner Party, the city of Marysville came to be in an opportune place at an opportune time.
The city of Marysville was founded in 1850 during the gold rush. The people who created the city realized immediately the value of locating at the confluence of the Yuba and Feather Rivers because of the gold activity.
Now, in 1848, when gold was discovered in California, men came here from all over the world to seek it out.
Marysville, because of the gold rush, experienced 50 years worth of growth in 5 years. And Mark Twain once called it the most well-built city in all of California.
We planted about 5,000 acres in about 4 weeks.
My great-grandfather came in 1851. And this property at that time was owned by a freed slave. In 1852, Marysville was as far as the steamships could come up from San Francisco.
The bridges coming into town, if you could look down, the old piers are still there, the original plaza where the steamships came. And they'd either go up the Yuba or up the Feather, or they'd disembark and the miners would leave from there.
The amount of gold that came out of Yuba County and Nevada County and Placer County in the mid-19th century, if you read about it, that was one of the reasons that the Union was successful in the Civil War, is that the gold that California was producing at that time was a real plus financially to the Union, and that's one of the reasons that California became a state so early in the game.
More gold was taken out of the Yuba River watershed than any river watershed in the entire United States.
But it wasn't long before they picked up all of the easy gold, and they began to be faced with the fantastic engineering problems of getting gold out of the secret places where it had lain for millions of years. If water had placed the gold in those riverbeds to begin with, why not use water to blast it loose again?
Hydraulic mining powered the gold rush economy, but was incredibly damaging to the river. Entire hillsides were washed away, sending millions of tons of silt and debris down the Yuba, threatening farmers' livelihoods, raising flood risk, even starting a local civil war.
The issue here really became farmers versus miners.
My great-grandpappy, okay, and he came out here, brought his wife. And they planted an orchard, okay, and he was going to make a great success and have a dozen kids. And then you see this river of sand, of sludge coming. Imagine a young orchard getting buried with the silt from hydraulic mining, okay? They literally raised the ceiling floor of where he lived 20 to 30 feet.
River traffic became impossible. San Francisco Bay turned brown the year round. And on the farms outside of the river towns, hundreds of acres of fruit orchards were strangled.
When the hydraulic mining was going on, people in Marysville were quite happy with it. In fact, they were making what they called the monitors, the giant nozzles and the canvas hoses that they used in the operation. And the mayor of Marysville would point to the muddy Yuba River, saying, that activity, that's our economy. And it wasn't until 1875, the flood of 1875, that they joined with the farmers in Sutter County against the hydraulic miners.
In 1884, a court ruling by Judge Lorenzo Sawyer banned hydraulic mining in California, the first environmental ruling in U.S. history. The people of Marysville, who once celebrated hydraulic mining, partied in the streets.
The war was over. The mines must close. And the people of the valley went to bed in peace.
after the gold rush, our gold here is our agriculture. So the flumes that were used for the gold, they became our irrigation canals to grow the agriculture in this area.
Even as Marysville became a hub of farming and commerce, locals lived under the long shadow of Mother Nature, under the constant threat of flooding.
So the largest flood here has been the super flood of 1862 that actually flooded Sacramento. The governor had to row his boat to his inauguration, and they moved the capital of Sacramento for a while because of the flooding. So the community found out early, again, that they had to make a decision about whether they were going to stay here and what they were going to do in order to stay here, or whether they're going to have to abandon the place. And we're here. So we know what the decisions were.
After the mining debris filled in the rivers, it was a constant fight to be able to keep the water out of Marysville.
The levees were largely mined out of the channel itself or from whatever was available at the time. In this region, there are silts and sands that are very permeable. And so what happens when we have water against them for an extended period of time, they become saturated and they start to melt away, just like if you're heating up a cube of butter.
Those levees were tested time and time again. Dams were built upstream to hold back mining debris. It wasn't enough to hold back the full force of Mother Nature on Christmas 1955.
It's just the biggest storm we'd had since 1909 in December of 55.
Shortly after midnight on the morning of the 24th, December 1955, the Feather River broke its levee at Gumtree, 2 1/2 miles south of Yuba City.
In a matter of minutes, a wall of water 5 feet high rolled across the frightened city, crushing homes and business buildings like matchwood, while moving them completely off their foundations. It was one of the worst flood disasters in the history of the United States.
I think we had possibly a half hour's notice.
Where was your husband at this time?
Well, he had been...
The Red Cross was there, the Salvation Army, the Boy Scouts, the National Guard, the Public Health Service, and many others.
Marysville's levees held, barely. The break happened on the Feather River in Yuba City near midnight. 38 people died.
You know, I can still stand on the front porch of my house, and I was 10 years old, and I heard a roar. I can still hear that roar. I can just think about that roar and houses floating by our house. I can still see that. I can still hear it. Never wanted to happen again.
As a senior in high school, we didn't understand the gravity of it, but a week later we were over in Yuba City mucking the houses out. You know, wearing hip boots and, you know, muck 6 inches deep and a big shovel and pushing outdoors. Houses were knocked off their foundation. I mean, it was just devastating.
Certainly a Christmas that will never be forgotten by the unfortunate residents of Yuba City and Lower Sutter County.
Not too far up from where we're sitting right now was the 1950 flood, and that broke through the rock piles, through the community of Hamilton and on out to the south districts where these guys are from, and did, you know, millions of dollars worth of damage. So our supervisors at that time, when the 55 flood came along, could say, hey, we need some type of flood control.
It wasn't just flood protection on people's minds. South of the Yuba River, farmers were pumping so much groundwater that wells were going dry. The hope was creating the Yuba County Water Agency would solve both problems.
So the agency was formed in 1959, and I always tell people, the agency and I were formed in the same year. It's a great year.
In a community rich in history but short on money, Yuba Water took on California's largest public works project ever led by a public agency.
They were remembering the flood, and they felt it was their duty and mission to do something about it.
And if you look at what was happening on the Feather River, the state was building Orville Dam. On the American River, the feds were building Folsom Dam. And nothing was happening on the Yuba River.
The community organized around the idea of, we're going to build a dam. If they're not going to build it, we'll build it.
It is the most incredible local government story ever to me. We can't wait for the feds anymore. We can't wait for the state. We've got to do it ourselves.
Building New Bullard's Bar, the 5th tallest dam in the country, would have been a huge lift for anyone, let alone one of the poorest counties in the state. The idea sparked fierce debate at the Capitol.
And the reality was the state really didn't want a small county to build it. You know, they were building all these projects, and this was a big project, and there was no way a small county could do it, but, you know, we'll give you the authority, we'll give you the special district.
Oh, I would say it was definitely a miracle that got done. From what I understand, it was debated on the assembly floor longer than any public works project up to that point in California.
And it probably wouldn't have happened other than, you know, the first Brown governor, because he was big into water supply, and the whole state water project was being formed at the time, and so there was, you know, a governor that was pro-water projects.
Well, I think it speaks to the boldness of the time. My father, because he was Attorney General, had water cases and got very interested and committed. So he pushed the water plan, and finally they got it done. So obviously he signed the water development program for Yuba County.
Well, we're going to harvest this. These are early girl tomatoes, and they're really the ones that I found work best in this climate. So, you know, the agency was created, but then how do you accomplish this water supply and flood protection? And that was done through the Yuba River Development Project, and there's a lot of stories about that.
Construction continued around the clock for 3 years. They blasted and bored through solid rock to build New Bullard's Bar Dam and Reservoir. They carved a tunnel through the hillside, building a penstock to carry water to New Colgate Powerhouse to generate electricity, with 2 of the largest Pelton wheel turbines ever built, 18 feet across, weighing 70,000 pounds. Equally impressive were the people of Yuba County, willing to put everything on the line for a project that cost far more than the whole county was worth.
They put out the vote to issue bonds. At the time, it was $185 million worth of bonds. Okay. At that time, it was 2.5 times the total appraised value of all of the property in the county. Okay. And 92% of the voters in Yuba County said, yes, we need to issue those bonds. I think about that and say 2.5 times the total value of all the property today is $12.5 billion. Okay, that's the level of commitment they were making.
The challenges were immense. Not a single contractor bid on the project. So it was redesigned to cut costs. After agonizing financial wrangling and negotiating, a firm called Perini Yuba signed on. But who would pay? Not Yuba Water.
They didn't have any money. They couldn't buy anything.
And so as a result, they had to negotiate and put together agreements where the people that had the money were willing to part with it to develop this project.
You start out by moving dirt, tons of dirt.
A financing partner eventually emerged, Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E.
I did not know the history. It was like it was buried in the archives. Nobody seemed to care. Even Pacific Gas and Electric Company had long since forgotten where they started. First of all, Colgate Powerhouse today is located on the original site of the original Colgate Powerhouse, which was 1899. And it has an interesting history because three men had a vision of electrifying the north state of California. DeSabla, the engineer, Martin, the salesman, and Romulus Riggs Colgate, the financier, they put this project together. They built the first powerhouse and delivered power 6 months to the day to Sacramento. But their real desire was to get to the Bay Area. They developed a 40,000 volt transmission line, 141 miles long, and carried the power to Oakland. They incorporated into Pacific Gas and Electric Company on January 2nd, 1906. On April 18th, 1906, was a catastrophic San Francisco earthquake. They survived it, they didn't go bankrupt, and from that point on, they became a successful company. The largest private electric utility in the world. And it all started here.
In 1966, work began in a steep canyon 5 miles northeast of the town of Dobbins.
Generations later, in the late 60s, PG&E agreed to finance the Yuba River Development Project. But in return, they would receive all of the hydropower revenue from New Colgate for the next 50 years.
Pacific Gas Electric Company was not in the business for flood protection. They were in the business to make power.
A deal was struck, and at long last, construction began nearly 7 years after the agency was formed.
Don Wilson, my predecessor, would tell stories about how the wheels would fall off the project and then everybody'd gather together and go put the wheels on again. And just a great story of perseverance.
You move mountains of dirt to chew your way down.
It really was an impossible project. I mean, it was, if you were up at that dam and looked at it, back then and looked in the canyon, you just couldn't imagine it. The old guys that were the surveyors would talk about, and I think, man, they had to be in good shape because they surveyed it with links and chains. So you're walking these incredibly steep canyons. We don't have GPS or a laser. They are walking them with links of chain, measuring everywhere where the water line would be. And all of us who've been around here a long time, my father worked on it, the duct work and he was a sheet metal worker. My grandfather was an electrician. He worked on the dam. Everybody who was in construction, if you had family, they worked up on Miller's Bar. It was the big project.
This project has come to reality through the vision and the enterprise and the cooperation of many people who will reap its benefits, not only for themselves, but for the people of California. It's this cooperation that's brought Yuba County an invaluable source of hydroelectric power, a storage basin for the floodwaters that have plagued the lower areas for so many years, and a recreational site that can be used and enjoyed by all Californians.
We started out as a department of Yuba County. It was kind of like a closet, like here's a little extra space.
So when I first was elected, I was elected as a county supervisor, and they were giving me a tour of the courthouse where the building where we were housed at the time. And they said, oh, by the way, you also sit on the Yuba County Water Agency, which I had heard of but didn't know much about. They took me down this corridor of a hallway into a room that was literally no more than 10 by 10. And it was Don Wilson and Nancy Jones. And that was the office. And that was my first impression of the Yuba County Water Agency.
Turn. That's better. I worked for Yuba County Water Agency for 29 years. Yes. Anything in the office was paid for through the general fund, and if we needed supplies and stuff like a pen for one person, we went down and bought one pen. We never ever bought a box of pens because we didn't have that kind of funding. Back in the 80s, we probably had somewhere between 12 and 15 people at the plant. There was 2 clerical staff that worked for me, and then I worked and Don Wilson worked. And that was it, and then we had a part-time hydrologist.
Nobody could have predicted or fully prepared for the levee failure in 1986 that changed this small water agency and the course of Yuba County forever.
Muddy water from the Yuba River spread over the towns of Linda and Olivehurst. People scrambled to leave with whatever they could carry. By 10 o'clock, water was flooding the streets on the outskirts of Olivehurst as authorities moved ahead of it, rushing to complete their evacuations.
Evacuate the Olivehurst area. Southbound, Highway 65. Sheriff's Department.
In areas nearest the river, people were reportedly rescued from rooftops. Many lined Highway 70, heading south, bumper to bumper, on one of the few roads left open. No one really knew exactly how high the floodwater would reach.
By daybreak, the full extent of the destruction came into focus. Damage stretched into the hundreds of millions of dollars.
It's kind of scary not knowing if everything you have is, floated away, and we had to leave our dog there, if he's alive. It's scary.
The poor community of Linda really suffered and has never really recovered from the 86 levee failure.
After the 86 flood event, the agency really started looking at how can they as an agency help the entire county. What are the studies that we need to do? And we started lobbying for flood studies and what kind of work do we need to do on the levees.
Well, I started working with Yuba Water in about 1986, 1987. The sole revenues then were a small amount of county tax revenue. And then their water sales, they covered the cost of the water and not much more. The agency looked at, what its assets were and how they could maybe maximize those, and so we talked about water transfers.
Now water transfers are deemed, they're just part of the world. I mean, everybody does it. But back then, there were very few water transfers from the North State, especially ones that were fairly large. As you can now read sometimes, maybe you're selling your soul to the devil. You're moving, water to the south.
There was a lot of distrust between Northern California generally and Southern California. And they want our water, and once they get our water, it's never coming back.
And yet, one of the things I've told people forever, the options up here, guys, there's 2 options. We're either going to move water, or they're going to move to Yuba County. Would you rather have LA here, or would you rather have LA there? So let's figure this out.
Never an agency to shy away from a challenge, Yuba Water spearheaded legislation, fast-tracking water transfers, and guaranteeing that the community making the transfer would never be left high and dry. It passed without a single no vote.
And that, since then, has been really the mechanism by which millions and millions of acre feet have been transferred throughout California.
whenever we get a check in, especially if it was over $1 million, everybody in the office had to hold it for a second. Because, hey, $1 million? Wow.
Those water transfers funded levee studies, so Yuba Water was first in line for state and federal dollars for flood protection. But in 1997, Mother Nature delivered another devastating blow.
Above the spillway at Lake Oroville, hundreds of millions of gallons of water a second crash into the Feather River. But can the already saturated levee system handle all this water?
You know, we were very concerned that we were going to make it through this because we knew how much water was coming down through the system. And, you know, I've been through enough floods now that you know, okay, you get to a certain point, the levee's going to break somewhere, but you don't know where. Mm-hmm. And it was the next day. I live in Brownsville, so it's about 45 to 50 minutes away. And when I drove in my driveway, the radio said that it broke. It was traumatic for us because we knew people could possibly die. And people did.
My heart goes out to everybody that has lost everything.
I wanted to get in the car and just leave and never come back.
The water level here was above the windows, pretty close to 9 feet deep. I should have known better because, I mean, I went through the 1955 flood. And learn.
For those that thought they could come back after 11 years, it was done. Put a fork in it because people were not motivated to live in Yuba County, let alone invest in businesses as well. How you both doing? Good. Good. How about some coffee to start with?
Coffee?
Mm-hmm. We own the local diner here in Olivehurst. It's called Duke's Diner after my dad, and we've been in business for almost 60 years. We moved from Sacramento.
Like we did in 2017. Remember when they were
working in the diner? I have this interaction going 7 days a week with folks.
Hey, great idea.
And it's kind of like the hub, you know, like this little city hall.
I'm still in politics. I just like
talking to a lot of the folks that I went to school with, that I was neighbors with, that said that our parents can't go through another one of these and something has to be done. And it really happened at Duke's Diner, you know, sitting around this table. I guess I drew the short straw on this one, and it was, decided that I would run for the Board of Supervisors. As a county supervisor, you also become a member of the Yuba Water Agency. My first thing was, we have to have flood protection. You know, okay, I don't care if we have a new park, money for a park. What good is it if it's underwater?
1895.
The grassroots effort that began at Duke's Diner helped spark a groundswell of change. In the years following the 97 flood, Yuba Water led efforts with local, state, and federal partners to dramatically strengthen the levees, work that continues in earnest to this day.
You know, it was personal. You know, it was personal. Not to be flooded once, but twice in 11 years. It was like, you know, you can't get away with that. And I wasn't just saying that to the state or the federal government. I was saying that to anybody who would listen, is that this poor community deserves better. And I'm going to be a loud voice for them in order to make sure that they have a level of safety that most people take for granted.
Setback levees were built on the Feather and Bear Rivers. Improvements were made to strengthen the Marysville Ring levee around the city of Marysville. After more than $500 million in investment and several decades, Yuba County is now one of the best protected communities at risk of flooding in California.
So at this point, I mean, you're sitting behind levees that probably have more money per capita than any levee system in the United States.
And I think it's loyalty. Loyalty to the community, loyalty to the families that were here before us. I think that's what it was about.
Well, so today was our first day of peach harvest. And they'll get canned and they will end up in somebody's shopping cart, hopefully. So, you know, it was from sun up to sundown. You know, back then it was kind of hard. My dad tells us, you know, the jobs weren't readily available. So they would have to go knock on door to door, try to find a job. They go out there with the headlights on to try to start early, work until they couldn't see anymore. You know, so we would go out in the summertime. So all my friends would be out learning how to swim. I still don't know how to swim. They learned how to swim. We were out picking peaches. We were out picking prunes. It was just trying to survive, trying to make that extra money, and just trying to raise the family. And Dad's goal was trying to put us to college, and so every little bit helped.
From one generation to the next, the roots of Yuba County farming run deep.
For this region, it is very important. We don't have big companies here. We don't have high-tech companies here. You know, so ag is everybody's bread and butter around in this region right here. You know, water is number one. I mean, without water, we have nothing.
That's rang true for more than a century at Daguerre Dam, built in the early 1900s to hold back debris from hydraulic mining. Irrigation districts north of the Yuba River saw opportunity here, building canals to move water to crops. The South County waited much longer.
When they built New Village Bar, they included a diversion that was going to put water in the south portion of Yuba County, south of Yuba River. The costs of actually building the dam was higher than what they had projected, and they literally had no money left over.
And what, it was 15 years later or so, and we started talking seriously, or you guys started talking seriously about, hey, remember the second half of that project? You know, the surface water delivery? Look at this graph. We need to do this.
Some of us got together and decided that it was time for us to see if we couldn't do that ourselves. We built the canal that exists to this day.
The majority of the county now is in rice because that's basically the best use for that ground. The rice prices in the 1980s were very poor, and the growers had to put up money to build this system, and it was really difficult. We tend to forget now, maybe, or some of the guys never even knew, but in those days, it was tough.
It was a real struggle for those that were involved in that. But I think the important thing is it was financed by the people who were using it.
It came at a steep cost, but the Wheatland Canal, as it's known, finally brought Yuba River water to South County farmers, reversing decades of declining groundwater levels.
The agency has a graph of the South County that shows before we started pumping out the ground and then after surface water came in. It's pretty dramatic. I'm sure you've seen it, Will.
Yep, many times.
Yeah, it
really tells the story.
Exactly.
Right? And then the unsurprising but great result is just the restoration of that groundwater. The graph turns itself upside down basically and starts back up, and I think by the early 90s it's kind of back to where it was in 1950.
You know, it's been a godsend. We were running out of water down there. That area had been developed on wells, and the aquifer was going down constantly.
Today, Yuba Water supplies water to 8 irrigation districts, the agency's member units, supporting 60,000 acres of farmland from fruit trees to the king crop around here, rice.
sushi rice, Japanese and Korean restaurants, you're eating medium grain rice. It's most probably anywhere in the United States is from California. It's a huge part of the economy here. And it's also the conservation crop. If it were not for the rice industry in the Pacific Flyway, the Pacific Flyway would collapse. 60% of the nourishment for ducks and geese come off these rice fields in the winter. Well, without the water resource, none of what you see in this camera or what you see in Yuba County would exist.
We are the partners of Yuba Water Agency. Us irrigation districts, 8 districts are in a partnership, and that's how we feel. Because of the fact we do use water out of the project, and that water grows crops to feed people. The agency needs us, and we actually, need the agency.
Even as Yuba Water made huge strides on the flood front, the agency faced one of its greatest challenges ever, one that took 2 decades to solve.
Yeah, the Yuba Accord was extraordinary. That's something you could have done a documentary on. All the ups and downs. It was full of drama, believe me. But it started out in 1988. A complaint was filed by a conservation group.
A complaint filed in the late 80s to the State Water Resources Control Board argued there wasn't enough water coming down the Yuba River for fish. It presented a very real threat to everything the agency had worked so hard to protect.
It was basically a water taking. When the state came in, they were basically going to take our water rights, not temporarily, forever. There were models that we showed that on certain years, all the water would run out to the bay and there would be no water left for anybody.
We heard about this complaint. We heard that the board was, going to have a meeting, and the Department of Fish and Game provided a flow management plan. They would not give us the flow management plan. Don Wilson actually had to go to the Fish and Game office. He had to leave like his driver's license or credit card to get a copy of it, and take that copy to a copy place, get a copy of it, and they went and reviewed it, and they go, oh my goodness, all this hard work we did in building this project to provide reliable water supply is going to be gone if this draft water management plan goes forward.
But fortunately, we weren't ready to quit that easy.
Rather than fight it out in court, Yuba Water decided to seek a settlement. It took countless meetings to find common ground. First, with environmental agencies over how much water fish needed.
They had an Excel spreadsheet that filled up a wall with these little tiny cells of all these stressors by life stage, by species.
Over the course of that 20 years, we proposed that settlement to 6 different directors of the Department of Fish and Wildlife. 6 different directors.
We had already met and ironed out the deal with the NGOs and the governmental agencies and the water contractors. Now we get to go home and work with our irrigation district and thought, well, this should be the easy part, right? No, and I'll never forget out of one of the meetings, it was so discouraging after we met with them because they really didn't understand the program. And I'll never forget Paul Barkowitz said, they don't understand it and we can't explain it.
They don't get it and we can't explain it to them. There were challenges in all aspects of the agreement, and then we had engaged with them with a hydrologist like Steve Grinnell to figure out, okay, how do we make this work from a project operations standpoint?
As an engineer, I kind of have a bit of a personal motto. There's always a solution. So we just lay out the information for them. And farmers are great. You try to take something from them, and they'll stand at their fence line with a shotgun at you. But if you show them a way to get something done, to move forward, they're fantastic partners.
What Yuba did is they took basically lemons and made some lemonade out of it. And that's the best way to put it. Just trust me, get in the car in the dark, and we're going to go for a ride, right? And we're going to end up at X. And that's kind of what a little bit of it was.
In the end, 3 agreements were ironed out as part of the Lower Yuba River Accord. More water would flow for fish, Yuba Water would be allowed to transfer some of that water south, and Yuba County farmers agreed to pump groundwater in dry years and use surface water in the wet years to replenish the groundwater, safeguarding local water supplies.
It is the solution, the model for solving water problems.
The Accord was the single most important event since building the dam to happen to the Yuba Water Agency.
Rivers freeze and summer ends. See, for me, she has a cold, so warm. Keeps it flowing. There you go.
This agency has the potential to change Yuba County forever. Once the bonds were paid off, there was going to be a revenue stream that could make an impact in this poor county. So it got you to dreaming about what the future would be.
As the sun rose over New Bullard's Bar one April morning in 2016, a future 50 years in the making arrived. Yuba Water was about to take the reins from PG&E.
The agreement with PG&E was wonderful. It's what allowed us to build the dam and build the powerhouses. It was necessary, right?
Yuba had the opportunity to just sign another agreement with PG&E.
They, what I say, jumped off the cliff. Or we're going to do it ourselves.
It proved to be incredibly difficult with the punch list that just went on and on and on.
As Yuba Water formed its own power operation from the ground up, the agency negotiated with PG&E, with someone who would become a very familiar face on the other side of the table.
I have to blame it on my mom's sister, my aunt. She would take me to the races in Grass Valley. I can remember going there when I was like 4 years old, and I always said, I'm going to be a race car driver someday. Well, I'm not a race car driver.
Instead, Willie Whittlesey ended up in the fast-paced world of water, and his career path had its share of twists and turns.
I was at the time managing the contracts between PG&E and all of the irrigation districts and water agencies that PG&E dealt with, and Kurt and Yuba County Water Agency were one of those contracts. So I was managing that. I was on the other side of the table from Kurt Aiken, managing the end of what I didn't even realize at the time was such a historic agreement for Yuba County, right? Not realizing that someday I would be on the other side of the table actually managing those agreements that I was negotiating. Now here I am as the general manager, and it's like, hey, we've got this wonderful resource that was kind of locked up for 50 years.
I was there when the transition happened, right at the time. We were at the Colgate Power Plant, and the board of directors were there and stuff like that. And it was just, it was like 2000, when the year 2000 came in. It's just another tick on the clock, right? It went fine. There was no fear.
From that day forward, power from New Colgate belonged to Yuba Water. The revenue to the people of Yuba County.
I don't know if you can compare it to any other place in California. Where else has a small agency, community, county done something of that magnitude?
That willingness and courage to take a little bit of a chance. The board took a chance with us when we take these, hey, we're adding this staff. We want to spend this many $1 million to make this change. That took a lot of confidence and courage on their parts. There's been courage all the way through the organization.
What kind of pride do you feel?
Oh, a lot. It's been a fight. We made it.
Today, this historic community is poised to write its next chapter. In the gold fields, more dirt was moved here than to build the Panama Canal. Piece by piece, Yuba Water is working to reverse the devastating impacts of hydraulic mining, restoring habitat to support declining fish populations. New Bullard's Bar is still the crown jewel of the agency and also a hidden gem as a recreation destination. While much of California grapples with declining groundwater, here the underground aquifer is in great shape. An area once beset by flooding is now one of the best protected in the state and continuing to work toward a first-of-its-kind milestone, 500-year flood protection, meaning there's a 1 in 500 chance in any given year that a flood could overpower the system. And in the high country, Yuba Water is leading unprecedented efforts to return forests to healthy natural conditions, protecting the watershed and reducing the risk of a devastating wildfire.
I think that we have an area of the county that's as well protected as can be from both flood and fire. And the water agency is working at both ends of the spectrum, from the top of the Sierras to the bottom of our flood zones.
All the while, Yuba Water is pouring hydropower revenue back into the community, investing in our leaders of tomorrow, investing to breathe new life into an economy that has struggled for far too long. It has taken immeasurable sacrifice and determination over many, many years. But in Yuba County, the future is bright.
My passion is really how can you leave the county in a better place that you've been involved in. And my two brothers play golf, and I go to water meetings. It's been very interesting and rewarding, and I'm proud that I was part of it.
There's a real sense of community, and it is that commitment to, no, this is our county. We're going to make it as good as we can.
What I think the most important thing for me is 50 years from now, my great-grandchildren will still want to live here. So that the children of Yuba County say, this is a great place to live, and we're going to stay. And that, to me, is success.
Probably not smart enough to go anywhere else. And here I sit, and I'm dug in, and I think, maybe I'm the dumb guy. All my ancestors, when things got a little crappy, they moved on. And I don't know, maybe it's the Pacific Ocean that stopped us, I don't know, but we're dug in and we're not moving.
It was all about how do we get this done? How do we work together and willing to take risks?
What more can we do? How do we think big? How do we dream big like the original founders of the agency?
There's just so much potential here in Marysville and in Yuba County. I just want to see us live up to that potential.
Yuba Sutter 93 community with local shows, sports, interviews, and events. You're watching 93Q TV.
President and CEO of Shaw & Associates. For over 70 years, Shaw & Associates has been your trusted experts for wealth management, tax, accounting, and payroll. We change lives and inspire true wealth, one person, one family, one business at a time. Shaw & Associates is a wealth management investment firm that specializes in taxes, serving as a fiduciary, putting your interests first. You can find more information or schedule an appointment by calling 530-674-1150 or on the web at shawassociatesinc.com. Shaw & Associates is proud to support community radio.
And my interview, my 9 o'clock, 9:14:40 to be exact, is Tom Walter. And I don't even remember how I met Tom, but we have some common loves, the military. We both have great respect for the military and everything involved in it. And we both like blues.
That's for sure. Yep.
You know, it's like there's certain music that just goes right to the soul, and that's one of them.
You know what's funny about that is I love it for about 15 to 20 minutes, and that's enough.
And then you're moving on. Right? Well, you go from blues to brews, then you move from brews to barbecue.
There we go.
And you just got the sequence down.
There we go.
So that's coming up right around the corner.
It is, August 29th.
Gosh, how quickly this year's going by.
Yep, it's our 24th year. We lost 1 year during COVID.
Mm-hmm. So. Which was a waste of time because I'd have eaten barbecue. Just lift the mask and eat, listen to the music, you're outside, what the heck?
And beer's a natural, you know.
Yeah. It could, for all we know, beer could have killed COVID.
That's true.
We should have experimented more.
I tried.
We get.
And I got it 4 times.
Oh, yeah, same here. It's like I told people, first time was pretty treacherous. After that, it was like, I got COVID, right? It was just, yeah. So this year is how many? 24?
24th
wow.
year. Yeah, Gina Crawford and I started it. Yep. It's gone from like 200 people to we'll probably have 800, 850 this year.
So let's talk a little bit about the important stuff, right? So it's on the 29th. So let's talk about it. What kind of brews are going to be there?
Over 30 microbrews.
Wow.
We will have non-alcoholic. I had a lady call me and say, so we're going to provide that, of course, which we haven't in the past.
Well, that's good. I don't drink, but I want to go have a good time.
Well, of course, we have all kinds of sodas, different kinds of sodas. We have wine, all different kinds of wine, water.
I do drink wine.
And we do have canned beer, probably 20 different kinds of canned beer.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the brews are happening. Okay. What about the music? What are you having this year for music?
Good to Go.
It's called Good to Go?
I have not heard them, but one of our members, you know Jim Phillips.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, bass player and vocalist. So he gets our bands every year, and he hasn't let me down yet.
That's very cool. Yeah. All right. Now I'm a dude, so it is about the food. So let's talk barbecue. What do you got going on this year?
Yeah. So like in other years, in the last at least 10, we have a pulled pork sandwich dinner, which is coleslaw and beans. By the way, the beans are from Hard Times. They're the best ever. Oh gosh, yeah. And I walked into Hard Times and I met the owner, Tim, and I said, you want to come out and do some samples and, get a little advertising, free advertising? He said, well, heck, why don't I cook it all?
Yeah. Wow. He's such a nice guy. Yeah.
He's tremendous. And then Veronica is his marketing person. But anyway, he's going to do the pork shoulders for the pulled pork sandwiches. We're going to have half slab of rib dinner, which he's cooking, and then we'll have a tri-tip sandwich dinner.
Wow!
And I've got Kenny Crowther, who caters. He's going to cook that. So, and then it has coleslaw, and we have cookie tree cookies for dessert. So it'll be a...
Man, you have like the best of the best.
We try.
You know, you guys, it's like, you know, it's like the difference between going and getting a TV dinner and getting a hungry man. You know, it's not the thing. Because I remember one year you had invited me. Thank you. You always invite me out. And I went up to get the food, and I was like, I hate to say this, but if there was no other reason, I would come to eat. I forget the band. Yeah, it was great music, and just a lot of really great people are out there. I mean, you see so many people you know, and even if you don't know them, you get a chance to, you know, meet new people, right?
Yeah, but it's a community event. We have 81 sponsors.
Wow.
Yeah, 480 seats. You know, that sponsorship comes with seats and reserved tables. So we have 81 reserved tables.
Well, gosh, that's a lot. That's amazing.
Well, they help us. It's unbelievable what this community does. I mean, so we've done 48 events this year. We cooked for 17 different organizations and funded the others. We've done a scholarship program for $28,500. We've helped Beal on 3 different occasions, and the backpack, the Christmas when the spouses are away at Christmas time, and thank you, community, for allowing us to do that and giving us the resources to do it.
Yeah, I think I was going to ask you that. Hey, name some of the major sponsors that help this so that you guys can help. Because I believe you're Kiwanis, right?
Early risers.
Early risers. Yeah, you guys are like, who wants to get up that early? Well, we eat. All right, I'm in.
IHOP. 6:45 a.m. Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. And I had to do it because I was with Sutter and Sutter Health. And I had to meet with the doctors at lunchtime because you don't want to interrupt their schedules. So that's when I started 34 years ago. Yeah. Oh, so sponsors, Clan Morrison, John Morrison, he's our drinkware sponsor. So when you get there, you get a plastic 14-ounce cup. This is not beer tasting, this is beer drinking. And thank you, Happy Viking, one of our majors too, for they bring out their 2 trailers, so that's 16 taps, and their staff to serve. It's unbelievable. And then of course we have our other beer vendors, but Medusa Earth is one of our major sponsors also, and I've never heard of them, but so we have some farmers in our group.
That's cool.
Who really go out and get the farm community vendors to help us out.
I'm really kind of disappointed, Tom. I think you should have had red Solo cups.
John wouldn't pay. He wouldn't give us that big sponsorship unless I used a magic marker and wrote Clan Morrison on it. No.
Oh, man, this is really awesome. So one more time, it's on the 29th.
Yes, it's from 4 to 8 p.m.
4 to 8 at the Yuba Sutter Fairgrounds.
Correct.
And where can they go and get tickets?
Yeah, so they can go on Eventbrite. They can go to our website, brewsbluesandbbq.org or com. They can go to the Happy Viking, or they can go to Beach Hut Deli.
Oh, well, that's easy.
Yeah.
And then they can pick up the tickets there. And
right.
You know, is there any specials, like if you buy for a party of 4, or is it just the ticket price is the same?
Ticket price is the same, but yeah, and then if you go to the gate, if you wait till you go to the gate, it's $75. It's $65 we haven't changed that for several years.
So just one quick thing. So the funds that come into this, because you guys are a nonprofit, right?
Correct.
And you're helping. So where do they go? What kinds of things are you guys supporting?
Well, like I said, the Beal Backpack, the Beal Christmas Program, the 17 places that we cook. We just took our 16-burner, 2-warmer propane trailer, beautiful trailer that Sweco built for us, we took it to Restore, or Habitat for Humanity, for the community to use.
Oh, man.
So just call John Nicoletti and go pick it up and use it and have a blast. There's so many sponsors. Like I said, there's 81 sponsors. But
I tell people, you're always going to forget somebody. I don't care if you had them written in front of you. Somehow you'd miss one. So
the other things that we give money to, this We Live, this new thing, it's for foster kids who term out at 18.
Yeah.
They help them get adjusted to the community because they just drop them.
We just had them on the air.
Did you really?
Yeah. Great folks.
So we gave them $1,000. Just all community stuff, and they come and speak, and then the board meets and votes on how much to fund. We have 2 coming up in the next board meeting. So.
Well, I appreciate early risers. So Blues, Brews, and Barbecues, go to that. But early risers, one more of our really just amazing local service clubs. And so if you like having pancakes with a bunch of people that love the community.
Or hot dog lunches. We did the United Way luncheon at the golf tournament. Yeah. Yep.
So you guys, 6:45. IHOP.
Yes.
So if somebody's interested in joining, can they go at that time and meet with you guys?
You come at that time and I'll buy you breakfast.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm about to get breakfast on Tom Walter's wallet.
Love to have you.
All right. What day is that you guys meet?
On every Tuesday.
Tuesdays. All right. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate you coming on Blues, Brews, and Barbecues the 29th. I like that you can just go Happy Viking or Beach Hut Deli, get your tickets there. You can go online and get them our Eventbrite.
And on our posters, actually, there's the QR code.
Well, that's take you right even easier. To Eventbrite.
Yeah. For you techies.
Yeah, that's not me, Tom. All right, thanks again.
Okay, thanks for having me.
This community interview is made possible by Shaw & Associates.
I'm Dave Shaw, President and CEO of Shaw & Associates. For over 70 years, Shaw & Associates has been your trusted experts for wealth management, tax, accounting, and payroll.
Connecting the Yuba Sutter 93 community with local shows, sports, interviews, and events. You're watching 93Q TV.
93Q Radio was an opportunity for what's called an LPFM to give the community a voice.
The big part of what's happening here is it's us. It's the community of us. There really is no other media group in the downtown Yuba Sutter grids that support and are active and are enthusiastic, and we can bring our message to more directly than any other source that's around.
We see the value. I really feel like this is a foundation for our community to build on and to thrive and to create that connection that we need.
They have the pulse of our community, from the nonprofits to the local governments. If you want to find out what's happening in our community, get on board with 93Q.
And 93Q does so much to help our community, helps us promote our local events, as well as local businesses, and tell our story about what we do here in Yuba Sutter.
The folks that work here, they're part of our community, so they understand our needs, and that's important. But secondly, they report on things that are going on in our community.
Local radio is so important during times of emergency. They're there. We lean on them to provide information to our public.
And I know that one of their goals is increasing their signal power and their reach, especially up in our foothill region. So the more support we can give them, the broader reach they can have.
My wife and I are glad to support 93Q. We're going to do it on a monthly basis, but I really recommend that if you want to make your community better, it's a great place to take a first step right here.
So if you can, reach deep in your pocket and give to 93Q.
It's our turn to support 93Q. They're a nonprofit, so in order to keep growing, they need our support.
We need to support them the way that they support us, and so I would ask that if you can, please give during this time.
93Q is a great partner for law enforcement, and they're a great partner partner for the Yuba Sutter area.
We're really asking people if you can give $10, $15, $20 a month, and then that enables us to continue to put small business spots on the air, nonprofits, organizations that are they're using every dollar they got just to operate, and they don't have extra money to spend on really promoting their cause. And that is why community radio, to me, I'm grateful to be part of it, and that's why it's important.
Connecting the Yuba Sutter 93 community with local shows, sports, interviews, and events. You're watching 93Q TV.
We continue to follow breaking news right now out of Yuba County.
The Yuba Water Agency says a pipe burst at the Colgate Powerhouse on the Yuba River.
The work to rebuild the Colgate penstock is underway, but there's a long road ahead for Yuba Water Agency.
It's absolutely difficult for me to look at it. The momentum of this agency at the time was great. We were doing great things, and to have something unanticipated like this come up has been devastating, frankly.
What happened that day was unexpected and unprecedented.
So it was an average Friday afternoon. We'd had 4.5 months of maintenance work going on in the tunnel and the penstock. And on Friday, February 13th, we were filling the penstock in the tunnel. We were near completion of the filling, and the penstock ruptured.
A catastrophic scene after a major pipeline burst in Yuba County.
That initial force must have been incredible.
In an instant, a maintenance project that was nearly complete became one of the biggest challenges in Yuba Water's history.
It was frantic and it was chaotic for the first few hours afterwards, ensuring that everyone was accounted for, developing a plan to remediate the oil spill downstream in Englebright Reservoir. Once we knew everyone was going to be okay, then you get a different feeling of devastation of all the work ahead of us, all the analysis, all the remediation, the financial impact it would have on this agency.
The effects of the rupture reach far beyond the repair site. With the penstock out of service, once the reservoir drops below the main spill gates, Yuba Water can only move about 1/3 as much water downstream as it normally would, which could have impacts throughout the state. That water supports local agriculture and native fish in the Yuba River, as well as Central Valley farming and communities throughout the Bay Area and Southern California. The outage has also sidelined the new Colgate Powerhouse, a facility capable of generating enough electricity for up to 350,000 homes and providing critical power when demand on the grid surges. And with that generation offline, one of Yuba Water's primary sources of revenue has been interrupted.
This conveyance system in the Colgate Powerhouse is 80% of the agency's revenue, and we'll be without that during the period of reconstruction.
That revenue helps fund flood protection projects, water supply investments, environmental and educational programs, and grants that benefit the local community. Until the system is restored, those resources will be limited. Technical experts are examining every part of the system to better understand the extent of the damage and develop a plan for rebuilding. At the same time, an independent forensics team is investigating what caused the incident in the first place. Both of these efforts will help inform the overall schedule and cost to rebuild. Fixing the penstock is about much more than just rebuilding a damaged facility. It's about restoring the water deliveries, clean energy generation, and community investments that depend on it. But Yuba Water is determined to get there.
The response from the public, the response from our partners in the industry, the response from our board of directors, and primarily our staff just shows to me that we will absolutely get through this.
Connecting the Yuba Sutter 93 community with local shows, sports, interviews, and events. You're watching 93Q TV.
Imagine bringing the golf course anywhere you want. Introducing Smash Golf, California's premier mobile golf simulator, bringing the green to your scene. Perfect for corporate events, parties, fundraisers, weddings, and golf lovers of all skill levels. Compete with friends and experience pro-level golf simulation without leaving your event. Make your next event unforgettable with Smash Golf. Smash Golf, bringing the green to your scene. Visit smashgolfca.com to book your event today.
Connecting the Yuba Sutter 93 community with local shows, sports, interviews, and events. You're watching 93Q TV.
Welcome, everybody, to edition number 1 of the Hard Rock Sports Roundtable. That's right. Let me say that again. Hard Rock Sports Roundtable. I'm John Cassidy. That's Hard Rock, the logo right there. That is Gary Gelfand, Fox 40 fame. You got a little Hard Rock wearing. That looks a little tight.
Is this being broadcast right now?
Live. We're on live. Looking good.
Shouldn't have worn my sister's shirt, but I did. I got it on.
Scott Marsh from Sacktown Sports 1140. Scotty, good to see you. Nice look there.
Good. The band is back, and man, Gary, you put on a few pounds.
Right?
That shirt is tight.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's building up for the NFL season. Mr. Harold Presley.
It's either that, Gary, or your sister's really big.
Harold Presley of Villanova 1985 championship, NCAA championship fame, first round pick of the Kings in 1986. He's been milking it since '86. And Harold, by the way, nice look. Well done.
The bookends. We have to make them look good, and that's a lot of work.
They have the stuff that fits. We're still working on that.
Exactly.
Yes, well, Scott did remind us the band is back together. Great to see you guys.
Great to see you.
You too, yeah.
And, I know we're all excited. I want to thank Mark Bertha and Ann Pagel out at Hard Rock for jumping in as sponsors and kicking us back off. The third iteration of the Sports Roundtable. Number 1 was Sierra Central Credit Union for 12 years, and then we did a year with Highlands, and now with Hard Rock and the Hard Rock development and their beautiful sports bar.
Yeah.
If you want to watch some games.
Oh, man. I've already spent some time in that sports bar. It's amazing. That place is great.
It's awesome. I can't wait to do some shows from there.
That will be really, really fun, especially for some big games, Mr. Presley.
And we're looking at football coming up right now.
Wow.
And all the fantasy. Gary, I know you're ready for that one.
Man, I can't wait for fantasy.
Scott wants to start our own fantasy league right here.
Or do you?
I'm going to play fantasy for this group, but in general, no.
Yeah, I was going to say, in general, you don't. That's right.
I'd rather play a Survivor League that actually matters, where you have real wins and losses.
Okay.
We're going to have prizes. So
Okay.
On this iteration of the Sports Roundtable, which is we love being part of Hard Rock. They're an amazing Fortune 200 group, and the Enterprise Rancheria that owns Hard Rock has done a phenomenal job for Northern California and all the communities it serves. And we're going to have all sorts of great ways that you can access us, the show, watch it, listen to it. It's going to be on Sacktown Sports 1140 on Saturdays at noon, and on your YouTube channel, right, Scott?
Yep, that's right.
We're doing it live right now on 93Q and 93Q's YouTube channel and Facebook channel, and you'll be able to go to Hard Rock Sports Roundtable on YouTube in the future to watch, because I know you want to watch these over and over, right, Harold?
Over and over.
So much good information every half-hour show.
You really want to tune in because we got some good stuff. We tell the truth around here.
My understanding is you can edit Harold's lines if you
can
go online.
You can do pretty much anything.
That's up to our bagpiper extraordinaire producer. That would be Kurt Baird.
This is all AI right now, right? Right? Can you make me look better?
I don't know if I can make you look better, but
is that possible?
Actually, you can't make me look any better.
We might be able to airbrush some of you.
So it's kind of interesting because literally almost a year ago, in coming November, and we're going to try to have an anniversary, a nice event out at Hard Rock again. We kicked off the Hard Rock Sports Bar, brand new. The screens are amazing. They're so vivid. They're huge. You can watch all the sporting events from A to Z. They had the World Cup Fest. They had you can watch the Giants games out there if you want to. Right now they're kind of ugly. We'll talk about that too. But all sorts of great food at the Hard Rock Cafe right there. They bring
Council Oaks.
The Council Oaks. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the cafe, unbelievable.
Yeah,
great food.
fantastic.
Wait, what's we love Yu-Yu, yes.
Asian
That's
fusion.
Delicious.
And we're going to touch on that in our testimonial commercials today. But all sorts of good stuff going on out there. We kicked it off. We had Mike Bibby out there. We had Dusty Baker. We had Harold Presley. Henry Turner, Festus Ezeli,
Brad Miller came.
Michael Merriweather.
Jerry Reynolds.
Yes. The legendary
Greg
Jerry Reynolds.
Lucanbill.
Greg Lucanbill, the first owner of the Sacramento Kings, and John Cariotis, one of the current owners. So it's quite a November 10th kickoff for the Hard Rock Sports Bar. If you haven't been there, get up there. You can get up there before concerts at Hard Rock Live. We'll touch on all the shows and stuff that are coming up there as we evolve the show. It's going to be live every Wednesday at 2:30 on 93Q, and then on Saturdays again at noon on Sacktown Sports 1140, and then you can watch us on YouTube as well. All sorts of things going on sports-wise today. We're going to cover NBA draft, the Kings moves, Warriors had a pretty good first-round pick, NFL draft and the 49ers, NFL preseason games kicking off this week. The Niners play the Titans. I think they're already started kind of an MMA.
They're already fighting. They're ready to play. That's what that means. Both teams ready to go.
What do they call that, Scott, when teams practice against each other? They call that
internal scrimmages.
Yes, that's right. Scrimmages.
Or the real preseason games.
The real preseason games. Yeah, there was a lot of fights this week there, but we got WNBA in full swing. Roger Craig goes in the Hall of Fame. Giants, A's, how that's working out in Sacramento. Sutter Health Park. I know, Presley, you love the hot dogs over at Sutter Health Park.
I'm a foodie, so I'll eat.
Hey, Lakers, Harold, they sold for $12.5 billion.
That's not bad. Does that do anything for my pension?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe it does. That's a good point.
Yes.
That could boost it.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to finding out real soon.
Your only Laker experience was when you went down 40-4.
Oh, we had to go
that
back.
wasn't the only.
We always go there.
I don't know how that helps you.
I also missed the game-winning shot, too, Scott.
Was that the game that Jerry had the heart attack, too?
No, that was in Sacramento.
We got to get Jerry Reynolds back out because his book, Reynolds Remembers, I want him to write the sequel, which is called Reynolds Forgets. So there's some stuff that...
How about Reynolds really remembers?
Really remembers. That's even better, Scott. Good job. So, so segment one, we got all sorts of good stuff. We're going to kick it off. And Don Nelson, Harold, you played against Don Nelson teams, passed away at 86 years old in Hawaii.
I do have a Don Nelson story for you.
I'm sure you do. Does it involve Scotch whiskey?
No, it did not. We were watching film, and I'll tell you all about it in the right time.
Oh, I like that. Okay, I think we got a special 24-second. And yes, we have brought back the infamous or famous or the best 24 seconds in all of sports broadcasting. Our 24-second clock segment ends every show. You'll get our thoughts on different things. I think you'll really enjoy that. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up.
Are you going to remember how to operate it this year?
I'm going to try to get the button pushed correctly. And just like we rehearsed today, we'll see how we screw that up. By the way, Phil Oates was up there at that event in November, too.
Yes, he
throw
was.
that out to Phil. Big sports guy in Sacramento and big Kings guy. So, Kings news. Kick us off, Scotty, the draft.
No, let's start with the bigger news with Russell Westbrook retiring this week. That's the big one. He retires Wednesday, yes.
Done.
Yes.
Does that mean we have a replacement for Harold? Or
I don't know who gets the roster spot.
Former NBA player? Wow, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so he announced his retirement.
Because they were talking about re-signing him.
The Kings were trying to re-sign. Multiple teams had made offers to him, but he decided to retire, and I respect that decision from him. He's done everything he can in the game about it.
He posted an amazing thing on his Instagram that kind of showed what it was. There was like a little hint that it's happening, and it did, and then literally like a minute later it became official. So, I mean, one of the best, obviously, but what, 37, I think now? 37, 38?
Triple double.
Harold, when you're at that age, that's pretty tough, right?
It's a hard time to continue playing. So I just think about LeBron James, where he's at an age and how he's still running up and down the court, and it's powerful. But as far as this guy, when he first came into the league, it was like, wow, that's the fastest guy I ever seen, and he really had a handle for the game. Retiring right now is probably the best for him. I thought he was going to go over in Europe or Dubai or somewhere where they were offering him crazy amount of money, but he's a little tired, and it's been a rough go the last several years for him.
It has been, and frankly, you know, he's not the player he was, but at the same time, he's still. Yeah, you never know with that. I can see him sneaking back in at the end of the season if somebody needs somebody to come along. I think Russell Westbrook.
I think Russell's making a call right now.
He's calling right now.
It's his agent. It's his agent.
If we want to put him on the Hard Rock Roundtable, we've got a spot because Harold won't be here every week, right?
We can find it.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Hey,
I will not go.
And LeBron.
I will not go.
LeBron moves on. No more Lakers for him.
Well, I think he did a great thing, though. He got his son a contract before going.
Smart guy.
I would have loved to have done something like that. Unfortunately, they kicked me out the league.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, probably for good reason, by the way. Yeah,
several good reasons.
So, Scotty, $12.5 billion. The team sold. The Lakers sold a year ago for $10 billion.
Yep.
So, Mr. Walter made $2.5 billion. Now I know there's some other controversy potentially there.
Your math is good. Mark Walters, he's also owner of the Dodgers. So when he bought the team, everybody was really excited about this new group. It'll be interesting. Kushner's involved, right?
Yep.
Donald Trump's son-in-law.
I think his
Bob
brother.
Iger of Disney fame. So we'll see. But yeah, to make a cool $2 billion without actually taking over the team
in a year,
remarkable, right?
It's like Monopoly money. I mean, what are we talking here? $12.5 billion? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. You can do. I mean, it's incredible how much money teams are going for.
It's nuts. Harold, did you like the Kings draft? Draft was, not too long ago. Kings come up with 3 really nice young players, and I'm excited.
Well, the point guard, I got a call immediately while they were in Vegas, and it was one of the scouts for one of the other teams that we know really well, and he says, "Oh my God, that kid is outstanding. You guys, you found one. You found somebody who's really going to take over and lead this team." So that's the first time we've heard that in
We're
quite
talking
a
about
while.
Darius Eckhoff,
And
right?
he is unbelievable. And so I'm looking forward to. I haven't seen it. I saw some preseason, but he got hurt, so I really didn't get a good feel of it. But everybody who watched him said, "What a great pickup!" So the Kings are making a turn there.
They are. And Carl Bowden is a really good player from UConn, but I really like Emmanuel Sharp. That kid is going to set a tone out of University of Houston. He plays defense like nobody's business, and he reminds me of a perimeter version of Draymond Green.
He's a 3-and-D guy. I mean, Kelvin Sampson, if you go to Houston, you will play defense, you will learn how to shoot threes, and that's what he does, exactly. Karasban, he won 2 national championships at UConn. He had his jersey retired while he was still playing there. The only player who's ever had that, so hopefully his game translates to the NBA. And with Acuff, there's no doubt that he's a leader. He's a guy who's going to take over late in games. It's interesting. A lot of people were comparing him to Allen Iverson. I don't see that. He's not the same player. He doesn't have the same speed factor. He's a bigger guy. I think best case scenario, and this would be incredible case, he's more of a Jalen Brunson type of player who's going to bully you up. He's going to be able to drive inside. He's going to hit some outside shots. I mean, if he ever became to a level of what Jalen Brunson has now, it'd be off the charts. But I think he's more of that style of player.
We got another Villanova guy?
Yeah.
Well, you have to if you want to win.
If you want to win.
Day for the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Unity Rewards Program. New members can spin to win up to $1,000 in free play. Plus, play up to $500 on us and get exclusive discounts at Rocktain Gas and Smoke, Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Sacramento.
Scotty, you get the first testimonial commercial of the new edition of the Hard Rock Sports Roundtable, and tell us what's going on at Hard Rock, some of the things that you like.
Well, there's lots of things that are going on at Hard Rock. You were kind enough, you actually wrote my testimonial, John, so that's one thing. We're going to change that for next week.
Might have to talk to Ann about that.
But I'll talk about the menu refresh, right? It's a true local food story. We know Sacramento's Farm to Fork. Hard Rock is Farm to Fork as well. They connect the premium Council Oak Steakhouse experience with the agricultural roots of Northern California. Terrific experience up there.
Can you say Wagyu?
I can't say Wagyu.
Oh, my word.
Wagyu.
You don't even need a knife.
I thought it's Wagyu.
You don't need, maybe, is it Wagyu or Wagyu? I don't know.
It's not Ragu, I know that.
I'll tell you
I say Wagyu.
You don't need a knife. You just need a fork.
Oh, it's delicious.
I don't know what it's called, but I know it's delicious.
Oh, man. It's incredible. That's good stuff. All right. Well, thank you, Scott. Well done. Okay, let's move on to the NFL. There's a lot going on. The NFL draft just took place.
Took place in April. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. Preseason just kicked off. Yes, but the Niners, I thought, had a haul. Finally, it looks like they got young players that will stick and make a difference. I mean, I know the Bears. I don't know how the Bears did in the draft.
We have some injuries already here too. So,
you talking about the Niners or the Bears?
No, the Bears. Well, when I say we, of course, exactly right, because I'm sitting here with the Chicago guy and all of us. But I'm excited for just all of us to go down. I can't even wait for things to get started. And the Niners. I mean, the way they finished off, they better start better.
Harold, I think the Niners.
With the loss to the Seahawks?
Well, and the injuries right now, too. I mean, just forget about last season. It's like Ricky Pierce is out for the year.
Yeah.
Ricky Pearsall is that's a big loss. Well, we'll see with Strictly, but I mean, when your coach gets it, when your coach is injured, you know you have a tough time. Kyle Shanahan in the car accident.
Debo's back.
But that's what they did. They brought some people that they needed some receivers, and that's what really was struggling.
The only thing is they got rid of Debo for a reason. So it's interesting to bring him back.
And it's great that you brought him back because you're going to need to give McCaffrey a little bit of a break, and he can actually go in the backfield, and he knows the system, so it's going to be okay there. But you got Evans as well, and Evans has led the league in reception and touchdowns for so long. He wants to, he had a little injury last year. He really wants to come back and have.
You're talking about Mike Evans, they got from Tampa Bay,
Yes. So I love what they did with this year, just picking up the pieces to get ready for this season. And we know that Brock Birdie's going to be healthy this year, so that's going to be a very big plus for him. And I know
to start, he's healthy.
He's starting right.
Yeah.
That's when you got to start somewhere.
Right.
Well, he's pretty healthy last year. And Scott, you were at camp. I mean, and the word is on Purdy, this is the best camp he's ever had so far.
I can't take anything into training camp. I mean, this guy's an NFL veteran. Mac Jones played great for the Niners last year as well. So Purdy's going to have to, I mean, I don't know if he has to prove himself is the right phrasing, but he needs to get rid of the ball quicker. Mike Evans are going to have to develop that connection. Kittles will be back, hopefully healthy. So maybe this will be the year the Niners can get it going offensively, because they really haven't been good offensively lately.
No. And Gary, their defensive line has been an issue, and they did draft. They got some really nice young players, and if you're following them on in the preseason, there's some good young players to watch. Vermilla Hyde is going to be an edge guy that they have really put a lot of stock in, and there's some other young players that they've got, but they've also picked up some veterans. That defensive line, I mean, Scott made the point about how bad they looked against Seattle. Seattle just mowed them down.
Yeah, that 41-6 game. Yeah, in the wild card game, last year. But yeah, I mean, that's what you need. You got to start with the defense. I think. Their offense. You need the offense, but you got to have the defense to get back there.
Are back, so that should help automatically, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, Greenwell. And they look like, at least so far, not well.
How's he doing, though, Bosa?
He's got a little tendonitis in the knee. That's natural.
Right.
Yeah. But you got Greenlaw and Warner. You got two of the best That might be the best linebacker combination when they're healthy. In the league. So, it's interesting. So, and the Raiders get the quarterback that they've been looking for how long?
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, are you talking about Kirk Cousins?
I'm pretty sure they're not talking about Kirk, but he's going to start this year, and he actually is. You can rely on him. You can count on him. You can teach the young kid the ins and outs.
Kirk Cousins is still a winner in the league.
He can still play, so they're going to have a fun time. The receivers are back. Bowens, the tight end, is outstanding, and I know he wants to prove himself because he had a tough time last year with the injuries, and they added some other receivers. Naylor, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He's coming, and he actually needs to prove himself as well. So you got a lot of people on this Oakland Raiders crew that is going to really come after it, and they have running backs now. They have a pretty good package, and they're in Vegas, so it's always going to be sold out.
It's going to be
So the big question: Max Crosby, is he end up a Niner? Does he end up staying with the Raiders? Is he getting more fist fights with Kirk Cousins? What happens there?
He stays.
Why would you possibly trade your best defensive guy?
I don't know what you do with your defensive guy. I don't know.
You finally have a chance to win, so he's going to stick around. When you're in that situation, you just want to win, and he didn't see win coming in, so he was ready to go. But now they put the pieces together. You want to stay, and you want to make it happen. You want to build that place that you started with, and you want to make it something very positive. So I'm looking for him to stay where he is, right there with the Raiders.
Got it.
I say Mendoza's in there by week 4.
That's not bad.
I don't think so. No, and again, he's the number 1 pick, and he was the Heisman, and Indiana, what they did will be legendary forever. But if you talk to some really experienced guys evaluating quarterbacks, like I talked to one guy who I respect a lot, said he's not even a first-round pick, let alone the number 1 pick.
Really?
Ouch. So we'll see how he performs at the next level. But
Cousins has to stay healthy.
He does. True.
That's what I'm worried about.
Kirk Cousins finished the year in Atlanta winning 4 straight games.
Before
getting let go. And Atlanta would like to have him back now. I mean, Michael Penix is out.
He's out already?
He's pretty
What happened?
Hey, so Nebraska kind of got this guy into 49er land. His name was Roger Craig.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes in the Hall of Fame, sadly, and we've played some golf with Roger at different tournaments over the years, charity tournaments. And
why can all these guys play, by the way? All these former athletes can play.
They have time and money?
Wait, except for Harold. No, Harold can play.
He played today.
But I'm just saying, they're all great golfers, too.
Well, speaking of Harold playing today, our official golf club of the Hard Rock Sports Roundtable, the Yuba Golf Club, I think Kurt's throwing it up there.
Where's that?
That is the former Peachtree Country Club.
Yes.
There it is right
Fantastic.
there, Yuba Golf Club. Yep, and you call 530-743-1897 and get a hold of Luke, the head pro. Come up, take a look at the golf course, play a round or two. They'll let you play to try it out. It's a beautiful golf course. One of the top 20 in California for many years is ranked by the San Francisco Chronicle. So check out the Yuba Golf Club.
By the way, John,
how was it today?
Impeccable.
Really?
The fairways are just plush.
Of course, they're perfect because you didn't find one.
I found them a couple times today. Absolutely, it's a beautiful. And I love the fact that they have taken down the trees in certain areas, and it really looks pretty.
How
out
are the
there.
greens?
The greens were perfect. Perfect.
How many 3-putts?
There was a couple.
Got it.
Quite a
More
few
4-putts than 3-putts.
Right.
Incredible.
Get ready to rock and win when you sign up for the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Unity Rewards Program. New members can spin to win up to $1,000 in free play. Plus, play up to $500 on us. Amplify your experience by becoming a Unity member and get exclusive discounts at Rocktain Gas and Smoke. Earn like a rock star and use your points on gaming, dining, shopping, or staying at any of our participating locations worldwide. Turn up the volume at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Sacramento.
Harold, I know you spent time at Hard Rock. It's your turn to kind of fire it up and tell people what's so much fun. What do you enjoy most about going out to Hard Rock and Hard Rock Live and Hard Rock Sacramento?
There's an awful lot that I enjoy about Hard Rock. First of all, the food is outstanding. Let's get that out of the way quick. The food is outstanding. Yes. It doesn't matter which restaurant you go to, you're going to love it all. Last year when we had the event, that November 10th, I believe it was, what they did with that was just phenomenal. But I love the fact that you can walk in there and you don't smell smoke. And the whole place is just clean.
Yes.
There's no paper on the floor. You can't find anything anywhere, and the smoke just disappears. So that, and I have a tough time with smoke, so it's beautiful for me. But the music, when you go into the theater and you're listening to a concert, it's like no other place in the country.
Top ranked in the country.
I have been to many of them around the country, and one of the biggest is Foxwoods in Connecticut, where I'm from, and it blows that away, and that's one of the best that I've ever been in. So the entertainment that comes here to the Sacramento, Yuba City region is like none other, and the sound system is just to die for. So you're going to have fun. You're going to watch all the sporting events. The best thing that happened last year was the NCAA tournament was outstanding, but you got football each and every week. You got tennis, you got golf, you got everything you can ask for.
You better bring a sleeping bag to the sports bar.
If you want to have fun, you got to go there for your entertainment.
I love it. Good call. And Earth, Wind & Fire coming up in September. 2 nights back.
Nice.
Hanson's coming up, right? Is that right? Yeah.
Hanson's coming up.
As we know,
yes.
Bop. That's about all I know. Right?
I think that's
all we know.
That's Mr. 93Q's favorite song, Bob Fischetti. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Good call. All right. So we'll talk a little baseball here before we get to the 24-second clock. We still got a few minutes left. So Giants. Okay, that's enough. Dodgers.
We can talk Dodgers all day long if you want.
Oh my God, do we have to?
The best team money can buy, Gary. I mean but your Cubbies are right.
When they got, what was it, Skubal, right?
Yeah.
When they got him, I'm like, okay, what is happening right now? This is like the most unfair thing in the world.
You had a better haul, your Cubbies, at the trade deadline.
We had a better what?
Better haul than just getting Skubal.
Yeah, yeah. But Skubal's good though, dude.
He is good.
I mean, he's it was just one of those things where, all right, here we go again. But you just went through like a 7-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Isn't that what happened last year though? They kind of like hit that little
Dog Days of August,
and then they come right back. But I don't know. I mean, come on. How can these teams keep on? The Dodgers just keep on getting these players.
But the Cubs are right there. I mean,
they are.
They're
They got a shot
right there.
And the Giants are right somewhere. I don't know where it's. Harold, they have no bullpen.
Now, why are we talking about all that when the A's are right here in town?
Talk about it for me. Yes, at Sutter Health Ballpark.
Have you seen the A's record?
Right.
Yes, I was actually.
At Sutter Health Ballpark down there, it's a beautiful. I mean,
it is
the
great.
stadium is outstanding.
Oh yeah, River Cats are still there. They'll be there for a long time. A's is one more year. Is that right?
Yeah,
one more year.
Hopefully it's not a strike shortened season.
I got 2 weeks before I get to the next game, but the last game I went to, The first inning, they were down 6-0.
Yeah.
And it was, it was just an experience just to be right there next to the players behind the bench and just
awesome.
Enjoy for the Sacramento region to come out and just experience professional baseball here in town is an awesome thing. So take advantage of it and go out there and support these guys while they hit.
Oh, absolutely.
David Force getting let go as GM of the A's.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's gone down
after many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a rough year.
It's been a rough year for the Giants. I like the Giants. Instead of being stuck in between, now you're breaking it down. You're trying to rebuild. Their farm system's one of the top 5 ranked in baseball. Now they finally got that going. I give Buster a lot of credit there. He's taken a lot of heat. But at the end of the day, you can't just stay mediocre forever. You've got to make some moves that allow you to grow a franchise with homegrown players, and then you can add later. They were kind of doing it in reverse, and it hasn't worked out. But that's okay. It's all good.
Saturdays, Hard Rock brings you the $3.9 million Roll to Win drawings. With 3 drawings each Saturday night, you could win up to $100,000 in cash and prizes. Saturdays, only at Hard Rock Sacramento.
So, folks, it's time for the best 24 seconds in all of broadcasting, and we're going to kick it off in episode number 1 of the Hard Rock Sports Roundtable with Mr. the one and only Gary Gelfand. You ready?
Well, I have to kick it off?
You're kicking it off.
Shoot, all right. Okay, I'm not going to go sports on this one, I don't think.
What are you going to do?
I can do anything, right?
Start
You're the
clock.
man. You can do
Start the clock whenever you want.
Okay, here we go.
Go ahead, start the clock. Where am I looking, over here?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, that's
You're
good.
on.
All right, hey, not that this has anything, but the reason I'm not going to talk about this, I am going to talk about this, it is the Hard Rock. And the reason I'm talking about the Hard Rock is because that not only is the sponsor of this show, but when I go to the Hard Rock, I love it. It's awesome. There's so many great things you can do. The sports book was really what I want to talk about. I have no idea what I'm talking about right now because I have 24 seconds. But I do love that sports book. So I'm going to say this best sports book in town is the Hard Rock. Go check it out. 2-1. It's awesome. You're going to love it.
Well done. Mr. Marsh, you're up.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about Russell Westbrook because he got so maligned over his time. Obviously, the numbers, he's a Hall of Famer. The triple-double numbers, incredible. Jokic is probably going to pass his all-time triple-double list. But the thing that gets overlooked is what a great teammate Russell Westbrook is. He gets panned for not being a great teammate. I can tell you firsthand from being here in Sacramento, a great mentor, a great teammate. That should be part of his legacy.
Wow, nice. On time. Mr. Presley, you're up.
Don Nelson. It's really sad that he has passed away. He had a wonderful life. He had a wonderful career in the NBA. He was a GM. He was a coach for several teams. And you cannot find a person that did not like Don Nelson. And what he did for the game should be elevated, and he should be honored. And I just thank you for all you have done for the game of basketball, Don Nelson.
Don Nelson, the last NBA coach to ever, we'll cover his story in a minute, the last NBA coach to ever show up in a locker room at halftime and always had a nice glass of scotch. My 24 is really quick and easy. Watch the 49ers defense this year under Raheem Morris as the defensive coordinator. You're going to see for the first time in many, many years an attacking defense, an offensive defense versus just kind of sitting back and plugging holes and then hitting. The Niners are going to be fun to watch defensively. The whole character of that defense is going to change. You'll enjoy that. Okay, Mr. Presley, give us your Don Nelson story.
So I'm a senior in college, and I'm getting ready for the draft, and Don Nelson, and they call me up and they say, we're flying you in, we want to talk to you. And I'm thinking I'm going to work out for them. But no, they pull out the television and they bring out the videotapes, and we're going through my play. And Don Nelson says, oh my God, that was the most incredible play I've ever seen. How'd you know the ball was going to get there? And I'm like, it's just instinct. I just knew it was going to be there. I got there and we started the fast break. He says, okay, now let's take a look at this play. And he says, what in the world? Why would you do something like that? And I was like, I don't know that one either. It just happened. And needless to say, they didn't draft me. I ended up coming here to the Sacramento Kings, where I'm here with you guys.
Was he the coach of Milwaukee?
Don Nelson's loss was our gain.
Where was he at the time?
Denver.
Okay.
So Don Nelson's loss was our game. Now, Don Nelson is second, or is he the winningest coach of all time, or second winningest coach of all time?
No, he's up at top 5.
Okay, I know he's in. I know he's up there. So interesting.
Popovich is all.
I guarantee he drank the most scotch much of any NBA head coach, and he ran that. He got that long hair going, when he retired.
Did move to Hawaii. Yep.
Yeah, just hung out.
Truly was a pleasant person to be around. He always had something fun to say. He was always smiling. The players that played for him loved him.
Oh yeah. No, he was a player's coach for sure. But he also was you did what he said or you were gone. I mean, he saved Chris Mullen's career. Chris had the drinking problem. Chris will talk about it.
Him and Chris Webber weren't best friends.
Well,
I'd probably give Don Nelson some credit there. So, yeah.
I don't know if that was so much of him, and it was really, Chris wasn't quite doing what he was supposed to do.
There you go.
It was a weird move for the Warriors to go get Chris Webber. They could have had Penny Hardaway.
It was.
True.
Yeah, it was.
True.
I don't get
Chris,
that whole thing.
Chris had a heck of a career.
Oh, of course. He was deserving of the number one pick.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Any comments on Mr. Nelson and Mr. Iowa from Iowa? Midwest guy.
I know. He went exactly Iowa.
Love the way he shot those free throws.
I got a chance to meet him just a couple of times, which was pretty cool, and it was awesome to meet him. We were at it was definitely in Golden State. I don't know why we were there. It definitely wasn't in the playoff game. Oh no, maybe it was, and I was actually covering the Warriors
when they beat Dallas.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
that's the Warriors down.
This was just I just got a chance to meet him and talk to him. Good guy.
Oh yeah,
awesome, gracious. He could have squashed on me if he wanted to.
Historical NBA player and coach, obviously. Hey, we got about 30 seconds left. I want to thank you guys for kicking off episode 1 of the Hard Rock Sports Roundtable right there, and great to be back with you guys. And we're going to keep this going every week. You can find us at Hard Rock Sports Roundtable on YouTube. You can find us on 93Q's website, 93Q Facebook, 93Q on YouTube, Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday at noon, and also on their Sacktown Sports YouTube channel. If you can't find us, something's wrong. Please sign up, subscribe to the show. We're really going to try to build this up. Want to thank the folks, Ann Pagel and Mark Bertha, the whole team out at Hard Rock. They do a phenomenal job. We're happy to be associated with such a class organization and a great venue. That's it, guys. I think we got to hand out to Council Oak and have some Wagyu steak right now. What do you think?
Let's head down there.
I'm ready for that. We need some bigger T-shirts, and I think we're ready to roll.
All right.
Might as well fit after that for sure.
Exactly. I want to thank Kurt Baird on the board. I want to thank Bob Fischetti, Lonnie for stepping in, Jeff Larson for showing up from the Appeal Democrat today. Thanks for joining us, and also the Yuba Golf Club, the official golf club of the Hard Rock Sports Roundtable. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again next week.
Connecting the Yuba Sutter 93Q community with local shows, sports, interviews, and events. You're watching 93Q TV.
93Q Radio was an opportunity for what's called an LPFM to give the community a voice.
The big part of what's happening here is it's us. It's the community of us. There really is no other media group in the downtown Yuba Sutter grids that support and are active and are enthusiastic, and we can bring our message to more directly than any other source that's around.
We see the value. I really feel like this is a foundation for our community to build on and to thrive and to create that connection that we need.
They have the pulse of our community from the nonprofits to the local governments. If you want to find out what's happening in our community, get on board with 93Q.
And 93Q does so much to help our community, helps us promote our local events, as well as local businesses, and tell our story about what we do here in Yuba Sutter.
The folks that work here, they're part of our community, so they understand our needs, and that's important. But secondly, they report on things that are going on in our community.
Local radio is so important during times of emergency. They're there. We lean on them to provide information to our public.
And I know that one of their goals is increasing their signal power and their reach, especially up in our foothill region. So the more support we can give them, the broader reach they can have.
My wife and I are glad to support 93Q. We're going to do it on a monthly basis, but I really recommend that if you want to make your community better, it's a great place to take a first step right here.
So if you can, reach deep into your pocket and give to 93Q.
It's our turn to support 93Q. They're a nonprofit, so in order to keep growing, they need our support.
We need to support them the way that they support us, and so I would ask that if you can, please give during this time.
93Q is a great partner for law enforcement, and they're a great partner partner for the Yuba Sutter area.
We're really asking people if you can give $10, $15, $20 a month, and then that enables us to continue to put small business spots on the air, nonprofits, organizations that are they're using every dollar they got just to operate, and they don't have extra money to spend on really promoting their cause. And that is why community radio, to me, I'm grateful to be part of it, and that's why it's important.
Ahoy there, boaters and recreators! Have you heard? Invasive golden mussels are posing a serious threat to our lakes and waterways, and we really need your help. So we've put together a simple song to remind you how you can help prevent the spread of this pesky little hitchhiker. Clean, drain, dry your boat every single time. We don't want invasive mussels clogging up our lines. Clean, drain, dry your boat, don't miss a single spot. Thoroughly, golden mussels must be stopped. Now all it takes is a single drop of standing water for golden mussels to spread. So it's not just boats, but all watercrafts that need to be checked. So, clean, drain, dry your kayak, self-inspect it too. Before and after every water body, that's what you've got to do. This may just be a silly song, but we hope you've heard it all. We must protect our precious lake, we don't have time to stall. Self-inspections are a simple and effective way to help make an impact. So before and after every water body, always remember, clean, drain, dry your boat. You can do it by yourself. Do your part and follow the steps. Together we can help. Clean, drain, dry it all. It's what you've got to do. Everybody do your part and keep our waters blue. Clean, drain, dry your boat. Clean, drain, dry your boat. Clean, drain, dry your boat. You've got to clean, drain, and dry your boat.
Shaw & Associates has been your trusted experts for wealth management, tax, accounting, and payroll. We change lives and inspire true wealth, one person, one family, one business at a time. Shaw & Associates is a wealth management investment firm that specializes in taxes, serving as a fiduciary, putting your interests first. You can find more information or schedule an appointment by calling 530-674-1150 or on the web at shawassociatesinc.com. Shaw & Associates is proud to support community radio.
We're grateful for the support from Shaw, and also if you'd like to support community radio, just go to 93qradio.com and hit that donate button. This morning I have some great folks from Peachtree Health. Notice I didn't say Harmony. I knew I'd get it right. Michelle Woodard, right? Tracy Riggs, and Dr. Kalpas. Gosh. Anyway,
good to see you, Fish. How are you doing?
Good. You guys doing good this morning?
Doing great. I got my coffee. We're ready to go.
Oh, yeah. You know, I can't move without the coffee. Without the coffee, I'm dead in the water, right? So I asked these great people to be on here for a reason. I had an opportunity to meet Dr. Kalpas at an event. And sometimes I just feel like we really, you know, you end up with a doctor of healthcare and you don't even really know them. You're just going in for whatever. And then eventually, if you're, you know, with them long enough, you get to know them. So I thought I'd give people an opportunity to get to know you first, right? So, Michelle, what do you do again? Tell me the...
I'm the Chief Operations Officer.
Operations Officer. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get this. I will. And... Tracy?
Yes, I am the Chief Executive Officer.
So, Doc, you brought the people that run everything.
I brought the A-team today.
I'm telling you, you didn't.
I don't mess around.
Oh, no kidding, right? You know, and then so I wish what I'd like to do is explain to me a little bit about how the process works with going to Peachtree Health, because, you know, I'm familiar with if I go to an emergency room and urgent care, whatever. Can you tell me a little bit about Peachtree?
Yeah, where should we start? So Peachtree Health is a federally qualified health center, which means we're a community health center focused on whole person care and serving our community. So we do everything from medical, behavior health, dental, vision,
chiropractic, acupuncture, pediatrics. We cover a little bit of everything. We try to keep as much as we can in our four walls.
Well, you did tell me off air, which I didn't know. I thought you only had one location. I was all excited. I'll go out and take a camera, right? You got 4?
Yeah, we did start with the Linda Clinic. We were originally in the old mall, which is now Costco.
Wow.
And we were part of Fremont Rideout Health Group when it was the hospital system in town. So we were a satellite clinic from there.
You guys have been around a long time.
We have. We've been around a long time.
But not you personally.
Well, yes, actually I have been since the beginning, since we were part of the hospital. I was there in the beginning. So, yeah.
Michelle will celebrate 35 years with Peachtree Health this November.
So I'm assuming you guys have a great retirement plan.
We're working on that.
So if I go to work there, I'm already 76. Can I get my retirement retroactive?
Absolutely.
I'll be over tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll sign it up. I don't even care what I do. And so this is really cool because I know that there is a lot more involved in than I just go to work. You guys connect with people, patients. Doc, I'm sure you got patients you've seen multiple times, and I hope it's okay to say you, Doc. Once I got chewed out because I'm military, right? I've always been, so I just called him Doc, right? And he said, "How disrespectful can you be?" And I went, "Well, what am I supposed to call him?" And said, "Doctor." Oh, doctor.
I was Army, so you can call me Doc. So.
Come on, Doc. We understand, right? And it's like, how did you get involved in this? When, as far as...
Yeah. So one of my priorities in my career is to really serve underserved populations, and so I've worked in the VA and I've worked in different clinics and hospital systems, but I was really drawn to community health centers because we see all patients, no matter how much money you have, no matter the color of your skin, your sexual orientation, doesn't matter. We see all patients, no matter whether you have money or not or where you're from. We see all patients, and so it's really in a way a safety net that if you can't get health care through your employer or through the VA or some other way, we'll see you no matter what.
Man, I love that. I have VA health, and I know some people complain about it, but my wife and I, we're both Vietnam vets, and man, we've been treated exceptionally well.
I love the VA. Yeah, it's a great system because it's a really well integrated system, right? You got the primary care, the inpatient all together, and they really work together well.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like is I have to go to either Mather or, because we have a clinic here now, but I got to go to Chico or Mather for major stuff, and they're talking about changing that, and so I hope that happens, or that we get more facilities, because if I could just run down and see you guys for something, easy breezy, right?
Yeah, we're here locally, so we can see you, and even if you go to the VA, we can also see you as well, and we can work collaboratively with them as a team.
Yeah, my doctor will do that. He'll like, I met a doctor I interviewed here, and he explained some things to me about my feet. Why they hurt all the time. And so I went to my doctor and I said, "Hey, I want to see this guy." He signed me off to go do it, and I went and saw him. We have so many incredible healthcare people in our area. There's a lot, and yet at the same time, it's not enough, is it?
It's not, because the underserved population is so large in our Yuba County areas, Yuba-Sutter County. It's always a challenge to get enough providers, recruited to our areas. And we work very closely with the other FQs in the community so that we can share in the responsibility of serving that population that really needs us the most. As you mentioned, Dr. Kalpas, the safety net, that's really what we're all about.
but a lot of people don't know about us, and we do have availability to see patients sometimes in a couple days, and we treat all kinds of diseases or conditions, whether it's physical, diabetes or high blood pressure, or you need colon cancer screening like we talked about last time, or if you need treatment for substance use disorder, or just dealing with stress in life, or you need your teeth cleaned, or you got a kid that needs their vaccines. We've got all types of different services that people might not know that we provide, including treatment for HIV, screening for HIV, all kinds of things that we can really help keep people healthy or get them healthy again once they are sick.
That's a huge undertaking. Kudos to you guys. That's a lot. And it's right here in our community, available. What did you call it? The underserved? Tell me again. What is it?
Yeah, the underserved population.
Yeah, what is that? Explain that to me.
They don't have health coverage, maybe through Blue Cross or something like they have a managed care plan, or they don't have any health coverage. They don't qualify.
So somebody that doesn't have anything at all. They don't have, and they don't have a nickel in their pocket.
Yeah. So we have what we call a sliding fee program. So you come in and you have no way to pay or very limited means. We base that on some certain demographics, and we see you. And if we can get you qualified for Medi-Cal or another service, we will do that also.
Tracy, is that common that people that actually could have health care, Medicare or something, and they don't have it because they don't know?
Yes, it's very common. We actually do care navigation or care coordination. So we have eligibility screeners who come in and will help pair resources with individuals. So we sit down with you, we find out all of your information, and we start working both with county, state, and federal resources to see what you might be eligible for. But that's the beauty of a community health center too, is we don't turn anyone away. So it doesn't matter what the issue is. When you come in, you will be seen.
Man, I love you guys. I'm community radio. We love community stuff like that. This is awesome. How come this is the thing. Doing what I do, I find out new stuff all the time. And that's one of the reasons I really wanted you guys to come in, is because I knew I didn't know. Right, and I want people to know what's available in our community. And I love, Doc, what you said about, look, we're not trying to screen you for who you are. We're trying to keep you healthy. And so you may have wrecked your own life, but we're still going to help you. I love that, because underserved. I'm going to have to try to grab hold of that. They tell me that people are food something, and I say, you mean hungry? It's like, I get that. I understand that. So do we have a very large population of that in our area? Is there a lot of people that they don't have health care, or maybe they could have it and don't know it?
Absolutely. We actually see around 45,000 patients a year.
Wow.
Around 120,000 patient visits a year, around there. So we're seeing a lot of people and doing a lot of good.
So is it the same in all 4 areas? I mean, do you guys have to CEO all 4 areas? And COO all 4 areas? Huh?
Yes, we oversee. All areas, yeah. So, what's the beauty of the community health centers is, like Ed said, we see 174,000 visits last year.
Gosh.
Majority of those will fall in that Medicare, Medi-Cal range, which means those are the underserved that Michelle was pointing out. And the beauty of community health centers, also with the care coordination, is healthcare in the United States is complex and it's not easy.
Yeah,
we help to break that down from the moment you call and get on the phone with one of our call center customer service reps to the point you get in to see a medical provider. It's breaking that step by step, that process down for people, even if it's in getting into specialty care. All of that happens from the point that they call the front desk, and then we begin working with you to get you into the door. Or if they show up at the door as well, we get you in.
And providing them the language they need. That's often a barrier to care, but we provide, we have translation for every language that you could possibly think of.
What about if they speak Brooklyn?
Well,
we work through that too. I worked through this. I've learned to speak Californian.
One of our great services we provide that we didn't mention at all was vision services. So eye care that we have at most of our clinics, and then a standalone up in Chico. And I've been there when children have come in with their parents, and I think of a young boy walking out and putting his glasses on for the first time and saying, "Oh my gosh, Mom, I can see." Hadn't been able to see the chalkboard, hadn't been able to see, and he was like 9 years old. So that's why we do this work. It's because of the great things that happen every day in our clinics.
And we're growing too. I think I said we saw 120,000, but that was the previous year's data. Like Tracy said, we're actually over 170,000 visits last year. So we're hiring more doctors, we're hiring more physician assistants, we're hiring more nurse practitioners. So if you or anyone out listening knows any great doctors that want to really help people that really need that help, get them in contact with me and we'll interview them.
So your job is not just as a physician.
I'm like the chief medical officer, so I oversee all the clinical aspects of our clinics. So oversee the doctors and providers, work on policies, workflows, quality improvement, really keeping our patients healthy, keeping our providers happy and healthy as well. So really making sure that all the clinical aspects run smoothly.
Man, I like this. You know, that's one of the reasons I wanted you guys on, so people could be able to understand Peachtree Health has got so much to offer. Today I found out you got 4 locations. Who knew, right? I just thought there was one. And then I find out that you guys are willing, you just want to keep people healthy. You just want to help people that are sick get well. And I think that at the core, I'm very grateful for the doctors that I've had during the course of my life that I've been able to sit down with and say, look, this is where I'm at. What can you do? I had cancer on my vocal cords, which for me is everything I do is talk. And I had this great doctor, and he sat down with me and he said, there's different treatments. He said, but I can see it. It's on your vocal cords. If you'll let me, I'll go in and take it out. And because your vocal cords are really thin, it took 7 operations. But the whole time I'm having this conversation with him, he understood where I was at. He knew absolutely, right? And it's like, I'm a pastor. So many times I've had people come to my office and say, Pastor Bob, I got cancer. But it's way different when you're the guy sitting on the other side and the doctor tells you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You move from compassion to empathy, right? And I felt like, honestly, Doc, when I first met you up there, I thought, this guy cares. It's not just a job to him, he cares. And now I've met you gals, and I think your whole office cares. You guys are going to get the Eye Care Award, man.
That's why we do this every day.
And how many years?
In November, it'll be 35.
You realize you're never going to retire. You like your job too much.
Well, that's what they keep telling me, that I'm not going to retire.
They don't want to lose you. They want to keep you there as part of the deal. Tracy, how long have you been with Peach?
I've been with Peach for about 18 months.
Wow, so you're new.
I'm a newbie.
You're the new kid on the block.
Yes, most of our executive team, Michelle is the glue that keeps us together.
Wow.
It's been with us almost a year, and our chief financial officer has been about 18 months or so. Yeah. So
wow.
We're all fairly new to the team, and Michelle has been the glue for the organization. Obviously, with 35 years experience, but also the historian for us as well.
So. I just want to do this, and that is, so we've talked a little bit. I want people to know who you are. So what would you like people to know? What would you like them to know? This is who we are as as the business side, the professional side. What would you like them to know? Go ahead.
If you're looking for a provider, doctor, therapist, psychiatrist, whatever, that really listens and cares about you as a patient, schedule an appointment with us, and we'll get you taken care of and really make sure that you get the best care possible, because that's what we're really committed to, that no matter who you are, that you deserve the best health care possible.
Gosh darn, how come I never heard of you guys? I did one time. So, yeah. Tracy?
I think my first thing is what you said, is we care. We are a family-first organization that starts with our team first, and we continue building out there till we get to the team, to the family of our patients. And we care. We care from the moment you call in to the moment you leave your appointment to making sure you get back in. And it's every part of that person and the whole person care that we provide.
Well, ditto. It's really from the time you walk in our clinics and that experience starts, you will find that because our employees are happy and we are family first, that radiates to the care we get back. And it is all about your family when you come through our clinic and whole person care.
Guys, I appreciate you taking the time to be on, and we've talked, we're going to do a podcast later, get a little deeper into, really there is that side where there are those personal stories of success. We don't have time to cover them, but you guys have all experienced them. Like you said, the little boy, all of a sudden they can see. And I just think that I want people to understand what is available. I didn't even know we had this. I didn't know we had a medical facility or facilities, right? Organization that, man, it just doesn't matter. You need help, come here, we're going to help you. I just think that's awesome. So
yeah, people can go to our website, pickpeach.org, and they can get more information there.
Who did that? Pickpeach.org. I love it.
Perfect, huh?
Well, I tell people, people are driving when they're listening to this. You come up with something simple like,
I can't forget that,
right? They can remember
Pick
that, right? Pickpeach.org. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it. For you guys for taking the time. And for more information, go to pickpeach.org and ask for any of them to explain it to you. They're there for you.
Well, thanks for having us on, Fish.
Thank you so much.
This community interview is made possible by Shaw and Associates.
I'm Dave Shaw, President and CEO of Shaw & Associates. For over 70 years, Shaw & Associates has been your trusted experts for wealth management, tax, accounting, and payroll. CEO of Shaw & Associates. For over 70 years, Shaw & Associates has been your trusted experts for wealth management, tax, accounting, and payroll. We change lives and inspire true wealth, one person, one family, one business at a time. Shaw & Associates is a wealth management investment firm that specializes in taxes, serving as a fiduciary, putting your interests first. You can find more information or schedule an appointment by calling 530-674-1150 or on the web at shawassociatesinc.com. Shaw & Associates is proud to support community radio.
Need to get rid of an old mattress? Recycling Industries has free mattress drop-off. They are conveniently located just off Garden Highway at 140 Epley Drive in Yuba City. Recycling Industries will also pay you for cardboard, aluminum cans, and plastic bottles. More information about Recycling Industries may be found at recyclingindustries.com.
And we are grateful for Dave Shaw's support for community radio and for the morning show. If you'd like to support community radio, just go to 93qradio.com, hit the donate button. So one of my all-time favorite people, and I get accused of saying that all the time, is Crystal Barton.
No, I buy it. I buy it, yeah.
Thank you, Crystal. I mean it. So we're going to talk about today, your River Endowment will always bring different people in, and you have a special guest today.
We do.
That received the Merle Collins Scholarship Award. So take it away, Crystal.
Well, I'm here today representing the Yuba River Endowment. Thank you so much for letting us come on each month and really put a focus, especially on ag education.
Yes.
And when these guys started the endowment in late 2019, they wanted to do scholarships. They wanted to do it from the beginning. And it took us about a year to get it off the ground because it's actually a pretty big endeavor when you're giving away the amount of money that they are. And coming up with what those qualifications were going to be and who would be, eligible to apply and stuff. And this last year, they gave away the most money they have ever given away, or this year, over $100,000 in scholarships to help Yuba County youth. And it's kids that are going to high school in Yuba County that were seniors, or anyone who still has a permanent residence in Yuba County, which is this young lady next to me today, who we've been able to follow through her entire journey with the endowment scholarship now. So
yeah, I met her, and I said, oh, I thought she was just going to college, like she was going to be a freshman. So I totally misguessed her age. And she said, no, I got one more semester and I graduate. I went, wow, how did that happen, right? So having said that, she gets a scholarship that can help her further education, and we'll find out why. So Jade, it's your turn. So you got to be excited about this.
I'm very excited. This is a huge opportunity. And like Crystal said, the Water Endowment has been supporting my entire education. I started off, once I graduated from Marysville High School, I went to junior college in Lynn Benton.
Go Indians. Sorry, I had to say that.
In Corvallis, Oregon, where I was on the junior college livestock judging team. And then that opportunity led me to West Texas A&M, where I'm continuing my education. And I've got one more semester until I graduate, and then my goal is to attend vet school, which I'm applying to right now.
Yeah, you kind of shocked me. I thought, no, how long is vet school? You just did 4 years of school, and vet school is?
It is another 4 years, so it is quite the commitment. But in between vet school, I want to go into large animal, specifically food animal. My dad raised cattle, and so that's what I want to stay committed to, that kind of career. I think the beef and dairy industry are absolutely insane industries where production does so much, and we have a continued decline of food animal vets, and so that's my aspiration, is to get more involved within that. And then specifically with advanced reproductive technologies, I think there's a huge opportunity there that the dairy industry has already kind of tipped their toes into, but I want the beef industry to be able to do the same. It just requires a little bit more research, so that's one of the aspirations I have for my career, because there's a huge opportunity for the advancements of the genetics and for more producers to be able to access those genetics. So that's one thing that I've explored within my undergrad career, and then I want to continue to do with the resources and the degree and expertise that vet school would provide.
When's the last time somebody told you you're brilliant and articulate? Because
I was just screaming it in my head that whole time.
We were both going. We're sitting there going, okay, we're done. Just keep talking, Jade. You're good. You're good. This is exciting because so what you're talking about cattle that are raised specifically for food, right?
Correct.
And so you're saying there's changes that are coming down the pike that could really help that industry.
Right. So the beef industry right now, just due to how the beef industry operates, there's not a lot of those reproductive techniques like AI, artificial insemination, IVF embryos, or OPU, which is ovum pickup. But all of these technologies give producers more access to higher quality genetics, meaning that the opportunity is there for the same amount of animals to produce more because of their genetic capabilities. But if producers don't have access to that, and at this point right now, the success rates of conception are still low to the point that it's not as it's not as good of an opportunity for producers to spend the money in reward to what they're getting out of it. And so there's a missing connection there that I think more research can fix in order to fix those conception rates, because the technology just recently came out, and so we're still figuring out how to make them more prolific so that producers are more invested into it. And like I said, the dairy industry has started mostly because they have more access to those animals, but I think as the technologies continue to develop, it'll be a huge opportunity for the beef industry as well.
So you're talking about if you've got a really good steer, right? You're talking about genetically. Now, if that steer produces a specific breed, whatever you want to call it, whatever comes after, right? Then genetically, if you can get that steer's genes, right, to go down the line, then you end up with healthier cattle. I mean, just in the long run. I would have thought that's already being done.
It is to a certain extent. It's hard to identify a lot of the different things genetically that would help cattle to be more productive. There's certain things like parasite, like some cattle are more resistant to parasites, things like that would lower the inputs that producers would have to put in. But it really comes down to the money that producers have to spend in order to access those technologies is not necessarily worth it if the conception rate's still too low. And so that's what we're trying to figure out, is how to improve those conception rates so that beef producers specifically are more incentivized to use those technologies in the future.
Boy, it really helped you to grow up around cows, didn't it?
Absolutely.
You probably love them.
So, and you were very successful in your FFA days, and then after that, tell us a little bit about.
So I was actually homeschooled from 1st to 8th grade, and then I started high school at Marysville High School specifically for the ag program. And so all through FFA, I was involved with showing cattle, and that was my SAE. But then I got more involved with the leadership and the speaking opportunities. And one of my favorite speaking competitions was Prepared, which is where you prepare a speech and then deliver it in front of judges, where I focused on lab-grown meat. And that was really, really interesting. And then I also served as officers within the Marysville chapter, and then I went on to be the regional vice president and the sectional president.
I'm not shocked. You aren't shocked, are you, Crystal?
No, I'm telling you what, the FFA students in this area continuously blow us away. And, being able to help watch their journey in just a little way through these scholarships. When the first year, I remember when you went up, and you said, was it Oregon or Washington that you went? Oregon. It was a little rough year for her, right? And we kind of saw some changes in what she was looking at doing with her life. And then just seeing her get to Texas, really lock in on this. And this last year when she did her interview, we all just sat back at the end and said, wow. And I kind of scribbled down the name. What was the research paper that you were a part of?
It's a long title. Is the Evaluation of Pregnancy Determination Methods in Early Pregnancies. And I co-authored that with one of my professors, where we worked with a local producer collecting blood samples and then ultrasounding the cows, and then wrote that, and I actually presented it in the undergraduate poster competition at the the Western meeting of the Animal Science Association. And so that was really cool. And then that later got published in the Journal of Animal Science in June.
I know.
You know what? You're going to run out of accomplishments. Jade, you've already done so much. What's left, right?
So we have these 2 special scholarship awards, and one is named after Roger Murray, who it came along much after Merle Collins did, but he was responsible for a lot of the water infrastructure in the south part of Yuba County. But when you go back, Merle Collins was actually born in the late 1800s and made his way here through Lassen County, where he eradicated tuberculosis in cows and helped do that as the farm advisor up there. And we thought, wow, wouldn't it be neat if we could put those 2 together in a room and she could tell him what the heck is going on with today's cows, right? But then he came here to Yuba County, where he looked and he had a vision for what water infrastructure could be in the county, and he knew it needed to start with some sort of reservoir, some sort of dam. And so he had the concept with, I'm sure, many other folks, to create the Virginia Ranch Dam, which was then named the Merle Collins Reservoir after him once it was opened. And, obviously is just a huge factor in our water infrastructure here in Yuba County.
That's amazing. So, Jade, I am just absolutely awestruck that, because a lot of people think, well, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a degree in something. But with you, it's almost as though you've always known the direction of travel. Has it kind of been like that? Maybe not the details, but always the direction.
Not entirely, actually. When I first graduated, my goal was to go into engineering, and then I was actually going to go to Cal Poly, but with all of the COVID stuff, I ended up in Oregon. But I wanted to do an engineering degree and then go to law school in order to do water infrastructure and deal with water infrastructure issues within California. And then I did engineering for a little bit in Oregon, and then deviated from that towards more research, and I wanted to do research mostly on genetics, and then I actually deviated from that again into vet school because I wanted to stay within the ag industry or the beef industry rather, that I grew up in and I had such a passion for. So
it was a loop.
Yeah, I explored some different options, but all throughout it, I deviated paths a little bit, changing my major, but the water endowment has stayed so supportive, and this whole community really in pushing me to continue to go and continue to find something that I could really, my heart could set on in order to chase for my career aspirations. And so it's been really amazing to have all of this support to be able to do so, and I'm really looking forward. I'm going to school in Texas right now, but I'm counting down the days that I can come back to Marysville. And so to be able to add to anything, any producers, any help that I can offer within this community.
Well, we talked offline a little bit about that. This is such an incredible community. This is just a great place to live, great place to grow up. And I remember when I first came